I'm Abby Jeffrey.
And I'm Lindsay Chapman. Soccer's world governing body, FIFA, bans the Muslim hijab. What does this mean for players in Australia? Today on this special edition of 6 Minutes. Good morning. As of April 2010, the International Federation of Association Football, better known as FIFA, or soccer's world governing body, issued a ruling that prohibited players from wearing the hijab whilst playing soccer. This comes after many countries have either succeeded in banning the hijab or are in the process of banning it. The hijab is a scarf that covers the head and neck, but leaves the face uncovered and is mostly worn by the Muslim community. FIFA has defended this ruling by stating that the hijab violates Law 4, which stipulates a player must not use equipment or wear anything that is dangerous to himself or any other players. FIFA further states that basic compulsory equipment must not have any political, religious or personal statements. This ruling has already caused controversy overseas, with the Iranian girls soccer squad coming close to missing out on participating in the Youth Olympic Games because a majority of the players wore hijabs. If it weren't for widespread protest, this would have been a reality. But what does this mean for players in Australia? For the latest, we cross to Abby Jeffrey.
Well, first of all, Lindsay, I have some good news for players in Australia. Australian sport moved immediately to reject any hijab ban. Jim Forrest, President of Football New South Wales, has just issued a statement saying, "We want no part of it." Even the thought of a hijab ban has caused outrage in the Australian public. I am disappointed with FIFA's illogical ban of the hijab. It's arrogant and discriminatory. It's a big slap in the face. I don't understand it and don't want to understand it. I think they need to revisit the actual rule itself. You can't stop people from participating. People have choices. If they want to wear the scarf, it's their choice. If they want to play soccer, it's their choice. These are just some of the email responses from the upset Muslim community. Thankfully, we do have good news that Australia has indeed rejected the hijab ruling, and the multicultural spirit of Australia is shining bright. Back to you, Lindsay.
Thank you, Abby. We now cross to our US correspondent, Jill Green, who will explain how events such as these relate to dominance, difference and diversity.
Hi, Lindsay. FIFA has tried to justify banning players wearing the hijab by saying that it is dangerous to the player themselves and also their fellow teammates. However, this ruling can also be seen as being religiously based. Since September 11, an anti-Islamic culture has risen in the world, and hence the Islamic religion has gained a negative reputation. Rulings such as this, made by FIFA, reflects this culture. FIFA also has the ruling that basic compulsory equipment must not have any political, religious or personal statements. This ruling can be seen as a lack of tolerance for religious difference. However, some may argue that rules such as these are only in place to mediate difference within the players and supporters and to reduce potential conflict. Another word that is being used to describe these rulings is xenophobia, which is the irrational fear of people who are different from yourself. The fact that Australia has rejected this ruling indicates that this nation, the Australian nation, to put it simply, is tolerant of difference. Due to the fact that all players can participate in sport despite having opposing religious beliefs, indicates that the zone of difference between religions is being minimised. The rejection of the ruling can also be seen as a challenge against the power of the white Christian hegemonic collective identity, meaning the dominance of this group is making way for a more religiously diverse nation. Furthermore, the typical Australian, as seen in the public imagination, is also being challenged. If this rejection is anything to go by, Australia will truly be a multicultural, pluralistic, diverse nation in the future.
Thank you, Jill. We are now going to cross to two secondary school teachers to discuss how they might use events such as the one described earlier in the program as curriculum, that is, to create an educative experience. Good morning, Ellen and Susie.
Good morning, Lindsay.
I'm Ellen Smith, and along with my colleague Susie Cornwell, are currently teaching at Torwood State High School. Therefore, this educative experience is aimed specifically towards secondary school students who are mainly aged between 12 and 18 years. We both feel that it is incredibly important to utilise events such as FIFA's Hijab ban to teach about difference, dominance and diversity in the everyday curriculum. Because events such as these are becoming more and more prevalent in today's world, it is important that our students, who are also our future, are aware of these events and what causes them. It is our hope that through educating our students on such topics, it will allow them to be more tolerant of difference and to view difference as just that and not deficit. I will now let Susie explain possible teaching techniques.
Thanks, Ellen. First of all, because our students are old enough to understand, events could be explained to them and then questions asked of them. Such questions could include, what do you think caused this event? How did this event relate to difference, and how could this event be avoided in the future? With FIFA's Hijab ban in mind, you could ask the students whether they agree or disagree with the ruling that FIFA made, which then lends itself to a debate. Teachers could also utilise computer labs and the library to allow the students to fill out a worksheet on terminology. We feel that it is important that the students are aware of the exact meaning of words. So words such as difference, diversity and dominance would be great for this topic. Whilst here, the students can also research events throughout history that have been instigated by difference. We would hope that events such as the European invasion of Australia and the Cronulla riots would be brought up by the students. A possible assignment task for the students could be to investigate these events and present it to their peers as a speech, role play, or other similar ways. A video that was of great interest to Ellen and I was the Jane Elliott Class Divided video. If you aren't familiar with Jane Elliott, she split her class into blue and brown-eyed groups and treated one group more superior to the other. She then reversed who she treated with superiority the next day. Throughout this experiment, she observed how her students reacted to being treated different and how they felt being a part of the minority. This video would benefit the students in deepening their understanding of difference. To mimic what Ellen said previously, I am hoping that these techniques will allow the students to develop a thorough understanding of difference, diversity and dominance. The understandings will, with any luck, lead them to being more tolerant of each other's differences. This then could possibly create a society in the future who truly embraces multiculturalism.
Thank you, ladies. This now concludes this very special edition of 6 Minutes. Good morning.